Really, they want this tube or bottle? Bottle. Or maybe I'll do an ombre. Yeah, I think I might do an ombre. My Kiko. Oh my god, why does this hair not want to come off? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So for today's video I have some first impressions on some products from Kat Von D that I was gifted. I was kindly invited into the Kat Von D inside Debenhams in Cork to be matched up for their foundation and to be shown some of their new products, and they were very good and gave me some products to take away. So today I am trying out the Shade and Light Eye Glimmer palette for the first time. The Shade and Light original palette, which is all mattes, is one of my absolute favourite palettes of all time. I also have the Lock-It foundation that I was matched up to, and the Lock-It concealer that I was matched up to as like my highlighting shade. I also have this little mini concealer in a darker shade that's more like my skin tone shade, and this little translucent powder that came as a baking set. And then I have lip products. I have these 3 Glimmer Veil liquid lipsticks, which I don't use but I do talk about. And I have these 3 lip liners that came in a set, and I use all 3 on the lip for this look. So I'm so grateful to the PR team at Kat Von D that was really generous to give me those products. This isn't in any way sponsored. They didn't ask me to do a review on these products. I was just really excited to play with them, so I thought I would do it on camera. So if you'd like to see my thoughts on these products and how we created this look, then just keep watching. So we're going to jump right in to the eyes, and I have already primed my eye with my Urban Decay Primer Potion. And the new palette, well, the new palette to me that I have is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer palette. So this is what it looks like. I will have close-ups and swatches on my blog, which will be linked down below. And this is the shimmer version of the original Shade and Light Eye palette, which is all mattes and which is well loved by me. So I'm reaching for this original one all the time, particularly because it is all mattes though. It's all mattes and all neutrals. So I can use it to tie together any look basically. So I would imagine I probably won't be reaching for the all shimmer one as often, but because it is still all neutrals, I'm sure it will still be extremely handy. So what I'm going to do is use the 2 palettes in conjunction, but because the Glimmer one is the new palette to me, I'm going to try and focus on this palette, even though I can only put on so much shimmer on my eye. So I've already primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I'm going to start by laying down a base of this matte cream shade up here, just to mattify out that eye area to make sure nothing sticks. And then on a fluffy blending brush, I'm going to take the Matte Peach as a transition shade. So I will be kind of concentrating the mattes in the crease area, as I normally would. And I will also run that under the eye nice and low and connecting them at the corner. And then I'm going to move down to this kind of reddish shade, and I think I'm going to, for now, I'm going to stick to the warmer quad because I am living for this end shade right here. I don't know if it's showing up on camera all that well, but I really want to try that on the lid, and then we'll see where we go from there. So that reddy kind of shade is going into my crease as another crease shade. And again, I'll bring it under the eye as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the mattes at there for the moment with just the peach and the red. I did make sure to layer up the red so that I got a nice payoff, but I do want the star of the show with the eyes anyway to be the Glimmer palette. But before I move on to that palette, I am going to actually test a concealer to carve out my lid and see how that goes. So I have 2 of the Kat Von D Lock-It concealers. I have this full-size one, which is in the shade that I was matched up to as like my under eye like brightening concealer. And this is in the shade L11 Neutral. And then I have this little mini one, which came in a duo with this translucent powder as like a little baking set. And this one is in the shade M27 Warm. So this one would be like my highlight shade, and this one would be more like my skin tone shade. So I think because I will be using this on the face, I'm going to try this one on the eyes to carve out the lid. So I'm taking that on a flat paddle style concealer brush. I'm going to bring that all the way around. So now that I have that done on both eyes, I'm going to come back over and pat out any creasing that has happened, which is to be expected because I haven't set the concealer with anything. And then for the lid, I think I'm going to go ahead and use these three. So using the shimmery version of that red that's in the crease, this shimmery kind of bronzy brown, and then this shimmery champagne color, peachy champagne color. So I'm going to start with the shimmery red. Well, it's like a darkened red, browny red. Ooh, that's dark. That is dark. Okay, I'm going to keep this on the very outer corner and just feather it into the matte red for now. I may need to darken up that crease, but we'll see. Do the same on the inside. I'm going to go for a halo shape. And then I'm going to flip the brush over and move on to that bronzy shade. And, whoa, that glitter is super pretty. I quite like that that glitter doesn't get lost when you apply it. You know, sometimes a shadow will look super sparkly and glittery in the pan and then you apply it and it's like, where did it go? But I like that you can really see that. Okay, then I want to take a small eyeshadow brush and take the peachy champagne color at the end and pop that in the center. And once I have all three colors laid down, I'll kind of blend in between. I just want to get my placement right so that I don't do too much of any one color, because at the moment it is looking very stripy, which we don't want. Okay, so I'm going to start feathering that lighter shade over the edge of the bronze. So I'm just slightly flicking it outwards, say on this side, outwards into the bronze, or inwards into the bronze on that side, to make them kind of mesh together. Then I'll go back to the brush that I took the bronze with and do the same thing over the edge of the bronze into the red. Okay, so I just did the same on the other eyelid, and then I've added just some liquid liner along the lash line, but I am going to smudge it out a little bit with the matte black from the original Shade and Light palette, because I think I want to do the sparkly black underneath, because I just really want to see what that's like when it's applied. So just to balance that, I'm going to make the top lash line nice and dark, but with the matte black. But I'm not going to bring it up too high to kind of cover up too much of our lovely lid shades. And I'm keeping to that rounded shape so that it's kind of thicker in the center rather than thicker on the outside. And as you can see, it's not like crazy dramatic, but it just brings it up that little bit from just the liner, and it also just makes it kind of softer and more blended looking. So I've just added some black pencil into my waterline, and I've also brought it down into the lower lash roots and just kind of smudged it down a bit. So I'm now going to go in to the Glimmer palette and grab that shimmery black, and I'm just going to do that on a little bullet brush and run that along the lower lash line. Okay, so I don't know if this is the brush or the shade, but this is one of the ones where it looks super glittery in the pan, but as I'm applying it, that glitter is kind of disappearing, and it's basically just giving me a regular matte black. Maybe not matte, maybe more of a satin, but it doesn't look glittery. I'm going to go back to my matte red shade on that same bullet brush and apply that onto the black, soften that edge. Okay, so then for a bit of a brow highlight, which I have already done on this side, I'm going to take this larger creamy shade here, which is more of a satin finish. I'm picking that up on a flat shader brush, applying that onto the brow. And then I'm going to use those matte shades. So I'm going to take a little bit of the matte cream on that first brush that I used to pop that all over. Just to blend that edge. And then I'll go back in with my blending brush and my peach, just to make sure I have no harsh lines there. Okay, so I think that's it for the shadow for the moment. So I'm going to pop on some brows and some lashes and I'll be back. Okay, so we are back with brows and lashes. I filled in my brows using this dark cool tone brown from the original Shade and Light palette. And the lashes I'm wearing are from Inglot. They're the number 79S. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but there is a lot of glitter fallout. A little bit of shadow fallout, but a lot of, a fair bit of glitter fallout from those glittery shades. It kind of reminds me of the old Urban Decay glitter eyeshadow formulas, where they'd be super pretty, but you'd just get so much loose glitter from the shadow falling down. But I always do eyes first for the fallout reason. If I get any, I can just take a little wipe and clean it up. So I really like that eye look, and I really enjoyed mixing the two palettes because you know that they're going to tie together really well. And of course, it just gives you the perfect amount of matte and the perfect amount of shimmers, and they're all neutral. So of course you could add in different colors as well. So I'm pleasantly surprised with this Glimmer palette because when I first saw it, I kind of thought, meh, the reason I love my Shade and Light palette, the original one, is because it's all mattes, which is true. But I do really like now having the option of having all those shimmers that I know will tie perfectly with my mattes palette. And I know that I can get complete looks out of the two of them. And as I said, of course, they're all neutral, so I can tie in any other colours I want with them. In terms of packaging, I much prefer the front of the Glimmer one. The lettering is all raised, it's just much cooler. I really like the holographic glitter on the Kat Von D eye lettering. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Whereas the original one, it's quite faded because it is quite worn and well loved. The original one is slightly raised, so it does have that bit of texture to it. And then this lettering was just straight gold. So I think this looks cooler and it feels a bit cooler. However, it opens like this. Now, if you are someone who wants to use this on the go, who travels a lot, that is great because you can kind of angle the mirror where you like. If any of you watch Leisha from X Sparkage, this is the kind of palette that she loves, because she hates when palettes are floppy like this. The term she uses is it needs palette Viagra to stay up so that you can actually use the mirror, because if it's floppy you have to use one hand and then it's difficult to use. However, I generally don't like to use palette mirrors, because even if I have this laying on a table and angle it up, it's too low down. I prefer like a stand-up mirror, or I'll use like a large mirror in front of me, and then I'll grab any palette with my hand and do any close-up work. And because I am a working makeup artist, I love when I can fold a palette under like this. I love when it's nice and neat and tidy on my table, even when I'm doing my own makeup, rather than having loads of open palettes that take up double the space on my workspace. I way prefer when I can fold it under like that. So at least this one doesn't go down the whole way so that it is taking up completely double the size. I can just have it up like this, but it's just not ideal for when you have all your stuff laid out. So I'm sure there are plenty of people who prefer this kind of packaging, but that's just my personal opinion with the way I use my palettes and my preferences. But overall, I do like it. I do like the shadows, and I really like the look that we created with it. So from there, we're going to move on to the face, and I have the Lock-It foundation, and I was matched to the shade Light 49 Neutral. I did have this foundation years ago, and I did really like it. I love the coverage, but one thing I found with it was that it settled quite badly in my expression lines, so in my forehead and around my smile lines. So what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of eyeshadow primer in those areas, just to help with that. So this packaging is similar, but it has been upgraded since when I had this foundation. I like that they have a different little stopper on the pump, because the other one was clear and you could see when it got kind of messy. But in general, I like the look of the tube, and I like that it has a pump. Tube or bottle? Bottle. And I'll just use a little short-handled round kabuki brush. Still has the same smell. It's kind of that slightly paint-like smell, if you know the Revlon Color Stay, kind of along those lines. But that coverage though, it is quite a thick foundation, so it's not one that you're going to like forget you're wearing. And if you've seen any of my foundation reviews before, you know I love full coverage, so this is right up my alley. And it's also a matte finish, and I'm oily skinned, so I love a matte finish. Now I'm not going to be doing a wear test on this today anyway. This is just focused on my kind of first impressions. Well, this is kind of my second impressions because I've used this before, but on these new products, new to me. But I can do a dedicated video on the foundation if you would like, because I like how it looks when it goes on first, but it's all about how it wears as well. And I still have this fecker right here that doesn't want to cover. It's the scar from the blemish that was there before, but it's really difficult to cover. And then I am just going to take a little bit on the dark circles under my eye, and a little bit into the corner, because this is a nice neutral shade, just to help colour correct a little bit before I go in with my lighter concealer. And I'm going to come back in and re-blend my under eye just to make sure that I didn't lose the softness with the concealers. So as I said before, the concealer that I got matched up with was the L11 Neutral, and she did specifically ask me if I wanted one that was going to be lighter and more of a highlight rather than one that would match me. So that is what I wanted. So let's see how this works with the foundation. Oh, it looks like a nice shade. It's also thicker, as you would expect, it being the concealer version of the foundation. And I'm actually just going to use this brush just to stipple it out a little bit, because these are one of the Sigma precision brushes, but I actually prefer my knockoff ones because they're looser. These are quite dense, and so I feel like they really move the product, and they can kind of move the product underneath as well, and they pick up a lot of product too. And sometimes that's good when you really want to buff something right into the skin, but if I want to keep my coverage, I prefer something with looser bristles. And my knockoff versions are dirty right now, so I'm just using this to kind of get it in the right placement, and then I'll use my Real Techniques contour brush, which is much more fluffy and loose, to blend it, get rid of any harsh lines. Yeah, I like that shade. There's good coverage in that. When I tilt down, you can still see the shadow, so I'm just going to add a little bit more there, but that's a mixture of darkness and actual shadow from the dip. Okay, so I'm going to take some down the center of the face then to finish off the highlighting. It has a similar kind of paint-like smell, which isn't like a strong smell, it's just when it's near your nose, and it doesn't bother me at all. I feel like that scar has reappeared. Damn it. So that is the foundation and the concealer. Really nice coverage. As I said, it is a thicker, they're both thicker formula, so it's not one that feels totally natural on the skin, but I don't mind that when I wear makeup. I know I'm wearing makeup. I do feel like that because it is kind of thicker and creamier, even though it is a matte finish, it does need to be set. It doesn't kind of dry down to a total like powder finish. So I will set it as I would always, and it has already started to kind of gather in my forehead expression lines from when I would have been raising my brows, doing my concealer and stuff. And I'm using my go-to translucent pressed powder, which if you're not new here, you'll know is my Rimmel Stay Matte. Oh, I forgot about the powder. Okay, let me just finish this, because that was just a really light setting under the eyes. Well, a very light setting. But I didn't bake, and I don't normally bake, that's why I forgot. But I wanted to do it with this powder because it came as a baking set with the baking idea. So for me, the concealer that came with it would actually be too dark for like baking and highlighting and stuff because it more matches me. But it worked really well cutting the crease. So if I am using this for baking, I'll be using it in conjunction with the lighter concealer. So let me actually use the puff that comes with it. And I'm also gonna do a little bit in the center of my face because, as I said, I am oily. So any extra setting power is good. And you know what? I'll take a little bit and press it into my expression lines to try and stop any further creasing. Okay, so we're gonna leave that bake and move on to lips because yeah, that's all I've left is lip products. So I got a set of 3 lovely lip liners in these kind of nice warm neutral shades in Homegirl, Hawk Wind and Lolita. And Lolita is their like signature color. And then I also have these 3 Glimmer Veil, Everlasting Glimmer Veil liquid lipsticks, and I have them in these 3 funky colors. So this light blue is Satellite, this deep blue is Reverb, and this purple is Televator. So they are glitter liquid lipsticks. Now, the issue that I have with these, and I won't be putting them on my lips because I will show you in real time, I have a wipe at the ready, is that they stain. And these aren't the kind of colours that I want to stain. If I was using these on my lips, it would be like for a cool like Instagram look or for like a fancy dress or something. But like I'll show you, this is Satellite, the light blue. And they look gorgeous and they swatch beautifully. So that is the swatch. Loads of shimmer and glitter in there. The colour is gorgeous and vibrant. I'll take a wipe. Now that wasn't on there very long and you can see that I still have that blue mark now on my arm. Just from a few seconds of it. So I certainly don't want to be wearing it on my lips for a long period of time because I would look like I have pneumonia once I take it off. Or try to take it off. So yeah, I'm scrubbing that. And you can still see a blue line. So I really don't have any intention of putting those on my lips at the moment, unless I was doing a look that called for something like that. I'm not sure if they're safe to use on the eyes, but if they are, and I look into that, if they are, they'd be cool liners. But again, you want to be careful of staining, but they might be okay once they're like over a shadow and there's like a barrier. Then again, they could be okay like over a lipstick just as a topper with a barrier. But I'm just not sure at the moment, so I'm going to put these to the side for the moment, and also they would go with this look. So I'm going to take one of, or maybe a couple of these lip liners. Or maybe I'll do all 3 and do an ombre. I could probably do the same with just 2, but let's see. So I'm going to start with the darkest one, which is Homegirl. And these are the lip liner crayons, the Everlasting lip liner crayons. And these are so soft and so creamy and buttery that you really don't want to give yourself much excess on the pencil, because I was swatching these yesterday and I took the first pencil and did a swatch, and I obviously rolled it up like slightly too much, and it wasn't like rolled up a lot or anything, it was just rolled up a little bit, and I applied maybe a little bit too much pressure and it snapped because it is so soft. So just be careful of that. So I'm literally going to give myself barely any excess so that we can avoid that happening. And I'm going to have to bring in my mirror and erase up. Okay, so that's my outline. And I'm just going to feather it in. And then I'm going to take actually the lightest of the 3, which is Lolita, and apply that to the center of the lip. Oh yeah, this is the one that snapped on me, so I have a little bit of like extra lip liner that is balancing in the pencil. So I didn't want to waste it. So that's literally just gone in the center. And then I'm going to take the medium shade, which is Hawk Wind, and use that to transition between the two. Oh, they set down. And then just kind of pressing lips together will help like blend the colours. And I'm just going to use a lip brush to blend just around the edges where I can't blend by pressing my lips together. Yeah, they really do set down, which is also something I noticed when I was swatching, because I would swatch and then just take a few pictures and then wipe off, and most of it came off pretty easy. But around the edges of the swatch, I was left with like the outline of the swatch, and I had to kind of scrub that off a little bit more, but it came off then, unlike these glitter shades. Now, because they're so soft and creamy, they're easy to apply as an all over lip colour. It's not like a dry pencil where you're kind of feathering it in and it's not like blending on. So they've worked really well for that. However, I did find for the Homegirl, for the outline, it was a little bit harder to get that a really crisp line because it's softer. So as you're applying, the tip is getting more blunt. So when that happens, you might have to turn it to get like the sharper point of it. And when you did have that sharper point, because it's so soft, you can't really put as much pressure on it to really get a clean, crisp line. But I mean, overall, it looks fine. It just wasn't super easy. For the outline, for like the filling in the lip and the blend and everything, it was perfect. And I really like those three colours together. I am happy with that look. Okay, let's brush off this powder. So I'm going to finish off my cheeks and come right back to you. So we're back. I've just let my hair down. Literally, I didn't mean like I went wild. Just took out the clip. So for my contour, I use a little bit of this e.l.f. pressed powder in the shade Cocoa, which I believe is discontinued. My Kiko Soft Touch blush in 105. And then for highlight, I took the Sleek Solstice palette and used this shade right here. So that is what completed the face. But you guys, I really like this whole look together. I really like the eyes. I love those shimmery shades, how sparkly and glittery they are without having to use any glitter. I love this lip combination with the three of these. I could have just done this realistically with probably the darkest and the lightest and just done a little bit more blending, but I wanted to use the three of them, and the three of them alone are beautiful colours. They're my kind of shades. I like those kind of neutrals but not totally nude, and I can really feel that they will last a long time. But they're not uncomfortable, it's just I can feel that they've set down. The foundation and concealer I like. I'm happy with the shades. I'm super happy with the coverage. I like that powder. It definitely brightened up and seems to have really set in place. The concealer, even though I still have been kind of raising my eyebrows, I haven't noticed any more settling in my forehead for the moment anyway. So I like that a lot. Really the only products that I have kind of an issue with are the ones that I didn't use, which are the Glimmer Veil liquid lipsticks. But as I said, I'm going to try and figure out a way that I can use it, because I hate wasting products and I hate not using products. So I'm going to figure out a way that I can use these. And it's also mainly just because of the colours, the shades that I have. If I had more like wearable shades, I wouldn't mind a stain, because then it's just like a regular lip stain. It's just that I don't want to be stained blue or purple. But the glitter and the vibrancy and everything is gorgeous in these. So guys, I think that is it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this kind of video, then definitely give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you liked it and also helps out my channel a lot. And of course, you can also subscribe to see more videos from me if you'd like to. And also don't forget, there is a link down below in the description box to the corresponding blog post if you want to see close-up pictures of the products and swatches and stuff. So yeah, thanks again guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.